the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, a platform where we have invited Spirit to share messages, healings, and transmissions with all of us. May this energetic experience help us to expand our awareness and to deepen the relationship we have with our higher self, our spiritual team, and with Source, however we define them. Thank you for being here and for taking part in this amazing journey. Hello and welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, Day 3, Episode 7? 8. No. 8. Yes, Episode 8. Amazing. We're just a little over halfway through. Today, for this episode, we have Florentine, who lives in the Netherlands. I will let her introduce herself to you guys, and then we will go from there.
Hi everyone, I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much, Daniel, for doing this, and I'm very grateful and honored to be here. Well, as Daniel told you, I'm Dutch. I've been working with for around 30 years as a spiritual intuitive coach and mentor, teacher, and I help spiritually evolving women and their pets to align their outer lives to their inner wisdom and intuition so they can have very fulfilling relationships and feel honored, appreciated, and loved in them. Today, I like to talk about subtle art of channeling. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about it a little bit later. But first, I like to join each other now. So please, if you're not driving or doing something else what's dangerous, please close your eyes right now. And take a deep breath. Inhale through your nose. All the light and love. Hold it for a second. And exhale all you can let go of. Once more. Inhale through your nose. Exhale all what can drop away, and you don't need to be aware what it is. And one more round, inhaling deep, allowing the breath to spread through all your body, all the parts of it, the molecules, the places in between, and just exhale again. And please feel your feet sinking into the floor. Just shuffle a little bit. If it's hard for you to ground right now, I know Daniel just woke up, so please pay attention to ground a little bit and just wiggle a little bit in your seat when you're sitting, and pay attention to the space where your grounding cord is located. And just notice that grounding cord unfolding. Make it flexible, strong, and send it down to all the layers of Mother Earth with gratitude towards the core of Mother Earth, that crystalline core, and where from she sends up her guidance, her encouragement, her wisdom and unconditional love to us. And just notice it entering you via the soles of your feet and just wending its way up, 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 through your body, through all your chakras, up, 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 till it reaches the top of your head. And notice it's just going on and on and on, past the moon, the stars, the sun, the universe, into the other universes, straight into the realms of all that is. Those beautiful higher vibrational frequencies of love and light. And notice how the divine is showering you with its crystal light and energy. Clearing and cleansing all you can let go of, clearing your body system, your energy system, and allow it to drain into Mother Earth. And while you breathe, I like to put your attention on your heart center. Sometimes it helps to put your hand on your heart. And just know that by doing so, you're connecting to all the wisdom that's available to us. And when we're there, I invite you to open your eyes and be back with us again, where we will be talking about the subtle art of channeling. This title was given to me by my spirit, and to let you know, I use all terms once at a time. I mean, I don't have a very limited view of spirit or all that is, or soul or high selves. To me, guidance is there for us, and it doesn't always matter to know where it's from, as long as you are aware and ask for it and know that they are from the highest vibrations of love and light, and ask for that, demand it. You will know if it's not the case, and when you ask, the ones who are not the highest aligned with your energy will just leave you alone. Please excuse me. Well, the subtle art of channeling. Well, I needed to look up the definition of art to explain this a little bit further, and I was really chuckling because it's so appropriate. I found art is a form of communication, an act of expressing feelings, thoughts, and observations. Another definition, art is the product of imagination and creativity, particularly in a physical form. Well, to me, this definitely sums up all that channeling is, because we're born as mighty creators. All we witness, all we experience, we did create and are creating. Channeling is a gift. It has been given to us as our birthright. I'm sorry, my Dutch comes in the way. And it's a skill we can develop, helping us to express ourselves as the ever-expanding best version of ourselves, the best version we can be at this very moment. It's infusing us with the brilliance we truly are. It's invoking insights and guiding and supporting us at every moment of our way. And then the subtle came in. And the subtle, why the subtle? Well, our deepest knowing talks to us, reaches out to us in subtle ways. And whereas it might have been in gone times more rough, more crude, because we were not able to hold the information, more refined information, or to accept it, to translate it in ourselves, the more we evolve spiritually, the more we are expected and demanded even to hold bigger capacities of channeling, of insights. And we need to grow. And for that, we really need to see the bigger picture, deeper layers, everything like that. So it will be more subtle, and it's up to us to be ready to pick up on that subtlety. The mastering of this art, this skill of channeling, will provide us with clarity where before there was confusion. It will lighten up areas where before it was obscure. It will support us, it will guide us, it will really poke us, it will get us where our soul needs us to be. We will feel that we are really standing in our power and expressing our strengths. We will be open to be filled with joy and magic. It's that gift our guides and guidance gives to us, to really to be joyful and to be open. And why does Spirit do this? Because it's not giving us all this information just for the fun of it. No, it has a purpose, as we all know. Being able to connect and follow our intuition and our deep inner wisdom will help us to let go of all what's not authentic or sincere to us. It will help us to find, speak, and live our truth. And that's important because therefore we're here and we show up on this summit. We are really all born to create a life on earth for ourselves that is in the deepest alignment with that what our soul just wanted us to have, what we set out to have, so we can fulfill that purpose we're always talking about. We will not be left to stumble alone in the dark. There's a hand out there, and it's a forceful hand, and we can grab it and use it time after time after time when we ask for it. The happy news is, okay, we are all able to channel. But even so, I don't know about you, but most of us, we struggle to, or have struggled to unpack it. And it's just, why do we do so? Why? We have a free choice, of course. We can choose not to use the guidance, or to accept it, or to be open to it. But why would we forsake such a beautiful gift? And one reason, of course, is that we were learned as children to just dismiss it, because maybe it didn't align with the religious values of the family, who only accepted some authorities to be able to communicate straightforward with spirit. Maybe our truth was just dismissed. We were telling that we were wrong, because or we noticed and experienced the shame and the shock of people who built themselves beautiful facades, to them beautiful facades, but we were able just to look right through it and to call them upon it. And that's a shock. It hurts when your band-aid of safety is being ripped off. So they told us, you don't see it right, you don't have it right. Actually, that is what happened to me. So what are you talking about? There are a multitude of reasons why we choose not to be open anymore, or to develop it. And then, of course, there comes a time that we really want to be aware of it again. And then we need to unpack it. And I'll come back to that later. There are layers for it, but what we need to do is to be raise our frequencies as much as possible for us right now, so spirit can reach us, and as well to be that clear container to widen the capacity to hold the messages, the guidance. So we need to become very aware of ourselves. We need to become aware of our body, our energy body, our psychological and spiritual body, so we can really distinguish, we are able to distinguish the guidance from our intuition, given from our intuition and deeper inner wisdom, from the thoughts, expectation, and other stuff from other people. And that takes some time, because most of us are highly sensitive. We are calling ourselves empaths, and we are used just to fill out all the feelings, others' emotions others may feel, and we feel it for themselves. I don't think that's a good thing. To me, that's rude in a way. It's impolite and it's uncomfortable. But even so, we are trained to do so, and it takes time to unlearn to do it. And sometimes we really feel that why do the messages stop to come in? Is it because, well, there's some benevolent being and who's getting tired of us not listening or following up and just turning off the tap of the flow? I hardly think so. We were given this promise that we would be supported, and spirit always keeps its promises. It is, as I said before, all those old limiting us beliefs and inner child issues, and we're just not used to. We clocked the flow. Spirit didn't, and in fact, it's really. Spirit really needs to bend backwards to reach us. Our frequencies are so much lower when we entered this body, to be a human being on Earth, than everything that's not embodied. That it's really, well, there is some white noise in between. So, well, there is that one core reason not to be open to the guidance, but as we are growing older, are growing wiser, we really need to be willing to reopen, to remember, to recognize, to receive, and or to refine it. I remember when I started out on my spiritual journey, and that was some 32 years ago, and till that time I more or less successfully just tamped down on my abilities, because it was safer to do so, as I believed. the woman who coached me, she was a very wise woman, and she told me she felt the need to open my crown chakra. And I was just adamant. I didn't want that. I was scared. I was scared to see the ghosts I only sensed till that time. She didn't do anything against my will, but she was just trying to explain the process to me. And I told her, okay, go ahead. And then I said yes, because at that moment it was so painful to stay in the bed. It was more painful to stay there where I was than to move forward. There was a reason I went to see that coach. And after she opened it, I really discovered a beautiful world out there, and it's full with chock full with joy and beautiful tidbits and guidance. And I realized that receiving messages is actually a very subtle artistic skill we have been given, and that we can make more perfect. As with everything, practice make perfect. We need to flex that muscle. And we need to raise those frequencies to receive the messages better, the divine energies better. So, as I have noticed, I'm really strong on channeling for oneself. As I've noticed while supporting those women to feel loved, honored, and respected in their relationships, it's really important to them to connect to their own intuition and to tap into their own wisdom, so they know where they are, they know what their strengths are, they know what their stumble blocks are, and so they are able to connect for themselves to their wisdom. And that's what I teach people, to drop into themselves, into that divine knowing, and just to use it. And to use the insights to become more aware and to become better equipped to weather all the storms in life that we all encounter time after time. Part of my soul mission is to empower women, to encourage them to be autonomous, to be self-governing, so they can really stand proud and tall in their strengths, be confident and filled with the joy. So this means they will need to rely on their own wisdom and not to be dependent on others to show them the directions. And it might sound like an open door, but even spiritual evolved persons tend to give their power away. They tend to ask, okay, and there are beautiful channelers out there. There are beautiful channelers in the summits. I know a lot of them personally, and I ask them for advice too. But it's more, you can ask for insights. You can't ask, what should I do? What will my future look like? What is my soul purpose? That's giving your power away. That doesn't, and as long when it doesn't fully resonate in your being, when it doesn't fill you with joy, it doesn't serve you anything. I know people are just dithering for years because the other persons are not able to just get that click for them. The thing is, they need to get the click for themselves, and not to expect someone to tell them, okay, now you're going to become a beautiful writer and you need to write 3 books. It doesn't work like that, in my experience. And be aware who you trust your soul with. This is just a warning, and it's something I'm really adamant about. Be aware and be careful. And I know, of course, I get in a channeled state as soon as I start working with my clients. My higher self takes over, and we get to the desired point of result in that session so together, hand in hand. And what I mean to say is, to become the best expression of ourselves, we need to be responsible for ourselves and not to ask if someone else resolved the riddle for us. We need to find out about our soul mission. We need to be able to receive those insights, those messages, those nudges, and the clues. And then we can combine them and just notice if they're feeling our heart and making us sing with joy. And only you can know what makes your heart sing, because there's that deeper resonation. As well, the danger with only asking for readings from others instead of relying as well on your own wisdom, is that there goes chunks of information get lost in the translation and the use of the verbiage of that person. Of course, channeling is a very subtle art, as I said before, and it's just there just to translate the information that comes in, the vision someone see, what they hear. It's not all cut and clear, so there is some translation involved, and just be aware of that. It's always good to check within, and to check within you need to channel your own messages. And there are ways when but first I think we need to open to be a clear channel. But first I think we need to dive a little bit in what does channeling mean to you? What does it look for you? What do you expect? Are you someone who thinks a true channeler is someone who is whose person has been taken over by another energy, so that that person, the instrument, as my master guide calls his instrument lovingly, Ian is just taken over by White Bull, and Ian is just fading away in the background? Or do you think, or do you feel that channeling comes through in tongues or cryptic language? Do you expect channeling to be whispers, nudges? Are you viewing maybe images? Do you only honor people? And that's okay, because there's no right or wrong. There's never a right and wrong. There's just your way. Are you just honoring people who are clairvoyant and see the whole picture? Or is your way of channeling to connect to all the subtle signs and signals we get from nature, our pets, trees, rocks, numbers? There's a lot out there. By the way, if you like to have some information, some guidance about receiving information by noticing signs and symbols, when you go to my website, Bubbles for Your Soul, there is a beautiful free entering journey alongside Explorer to help you through this. And there's always space for growing. There's always space for growth. So even if we know we do that, there's always space to expand our knowledge, how to access the wisdom Spirit shares with us. Maybe fire shows you images in its leaping flames, or the wind whispers about the colors of it in your ear. There are a multitude of ways to receive your messages. I've got an example some time ago, and there are people here who get my newsletter. And when I invited you to this summit, I shared that story with you. Some weeks ago, my husband and I needed to make a very important decision to us. And we were just sitting on the couch. It was, around 8, 9 in the evening, I think, or 10. And we were just discussing it, because it would mean quite a change for us, and we were not aware if we really wanted to do so and were willing to, and we were just talking. We wanted to, it was exciting, but and then Beth showed up, and that's really weird. I live at the coast in the Netherlands. We don't do beds here. I've never seen them. I've lived here in this house for 27 years now. They don't come here. By the way, it was spring. There were no flies or anything to catch, or mosquitoes, but bed showed itself, not one, but several. And when I looked up the meaning of bed, because I took it as a sign, it told me, just don't be afraid of the change, just jump and go forward. And that's what we did. There are so many ways guidance speaks to us, and it's fascinating. What's important as well is to discover what kind of topic speaks to you. As I guide those women, to me, it's really important that at the moment that I work, that I receive the information about the root of an issue, of an existing issue of my client. I love to pass the story and to dive deep. That's one of my topics. On the other hand, I really don't do well with questions like, will the man I just swiped at, or I don't know how it works, by the way, at Tinder be my soulmate? Because to me, it's more important to know why would anyone be so anxious to find its soulmate, and why would you think that someone you don't know will be your soulmate to start with, and not once, but every other day. And I know what I'm talking about. I've worked for a while for Psychic Phone Line, and those questions really came up very often. They do deplete me, the answering of it, and that's of course because I'm not interested, and I don't think it serves anyone to know, because what does it help when I tell you, okay, this is your soulmate? It doesn't take the obstacles out of the way. And as well, you've got, of course, people who are really good medical intuitives. I'm not one of them. We all have our topics, so just find out what is your topic, and that will raise the chances you get detailed information about it, in my experience. And my higher self has told me that this all is part of the free will caboodle. And my choice is as well to empower those women, to be able to stand on their feet, to be not dependent on others besides their own beautiful wisdom. And consequently, my gift is that diving deeper and searching and finding the core reason, the heart of the issue. And my higher self as well told me that she's holding herself back a little bit at the beginning every time, because she really wants people to encourage, to understand what's playing with them. But this will work very different for everyone. And I've got a beautiful practice you can do, exercise after this session, or maybe now when you've got a pen or paper. Just take a piece of paper and a pen and just breathe again and feel into yourself and ask yourself, how do I interpret channeling? How do I define this? What does channeling mean to me? And just breathe, be open, and write down the answer. And you might be surprised, you will be surprised afterwards what you wrote down. It's such a beautiful, strong way of receiving messages. So you channeled. When you do though, you channel. And that's a way to get messages. And then brings us to how to access your divine knowing. So how to access it. What ways will help you to access your intuition, your deep inner wisdom? And first, what's really important, be willing to receive. Put yourself in that grounded place. Be open. Raise your frequencies. Just by putting the attention out there, they will be raised already. Be curious. Ask, what more is possible? What if? Relax. Relax in the knowing. Answers will follow. Trust they will follow. And be fully aware, and it's a really important one, what belongs to you and what doesn't. What is yours and what isn't. And this will really refine your capacity of receiving and understanding. To know who is sending this guidance. Which allies are out there for us. We don't have to know them all by name or by heart, or because there are loads of allies out there having our back, supporting us through this lifetime. But are those higher vibrational frequencies of love and light in whatever form they show themselves to you? It might be spirit animals, it might be trees, it might be archangels, it might be God itself. Be aware what works for you. Turn into your inner stillness, and you can do so even when it's very busy around you. Just kindle that inner stillness, be able to return to it so you can receive the messages more clearly. And as I said before, just ask for the highest guides possible to align with you. And when you demand for it, they will let you know. And demand for as clear as possible guidance. I've made a deal with my soul years ago that when I dream, and dreaming is the language our soul uses, when it's not clear to me, they have to resend me the dream or another dream as till it's really clear to me. I really don't like to solve all those riddles and I just want to know I just want to know what's the message. And Sally, I'm sorry, I didn't see the chat so far. Yes. How do you distinguish between what are your thoughts and what are messages from others? I will get to that later. And it's practice. It's being aware of what's yours and what isn't. And it takes practice and willingness to know. So we'll come back there later. Thank you, Sally, for asking. So I've opened my chat now. And what helps as well, be aware what is your favorite language to receive. What's your most natural method of receiving? As I said before, are those symbols speaking to you? There are a lot of ways, or are you expecting that voice clearly in your ear or in your head? Get out of the way. Just get out of the way. Don't doubt it. Don't dismiss it. Just get out of the way and allow spirit to come through. It's hard enough for spirit to come through with us doubting it. And you can always use, if you're not, because, well, it's when you start doing it or you're not really sure, just use some methods. You can use muscle testing. You can use your pendulum. You can use your body to test if this is true. Does this guidance come from spirits? And just ask. You can ask, but don't doubt that what comes through and what you've noticed that is from spirits. Don't doubt it. Just be open and accept. And there are tools as well helping us along, like that writing I just mentioned in the exercise. I discovered that gift when I was mentor, when I was a moderator in a membership, and people ask questions, and I've noticed when I just start to write, the answers will flow and come through. And when I read them back, I'm just thinking, wow, did I write this? Well, actually, I did use my hand probably, but I didn't write it. You can use daydreaming. It's very important just to daydream. And I received a mail from an American guy, Nick Polizzi, I don't know if you know him, last week, and he was talking about the Dutch concept about Nixon. And I was laughing because Nixon is, well, it's a little bit frowned upon in the Netherlands because Nixon means you're just sitting on the couch and you're just staring at the clouds. And it's not really according to our Calvinistic nature, but I think it's great to receive messages, to free it up. You can ask Oracle, tarot cards. They are really a way of spirit to talk to us, a language they use. Use the I Ching, a journal, meditate. There are millions, zillions of ways. And always ask, does this guidance resonate deep in me? Do you get that idea? Okay, yes, actually, I was aware already. I knew it already, but it just didn't float up to the surface. There is an inner knowing, and yeah, be willing to check that. And never allow others, again, to diminish or ridicule your sixth sense, because it's such a beautiful gift and it will help us to navigate those higher realms, to those higher dimensions while we are here in this 3D world. And I really don't care how many dimensions there are out there. I think we're always go forward and back, because we are here in this world. We need to be here, but we need to be able to tap into the wisdom so we can be that full expressions of who we are. So then the application of it comes up. How do we apply this deeper knowledge we have access to benefit our relationships? And in other words, how can we further sharpen, expand, and apply our intuition and inner wisdom, so our outer worlds, this 3D life, will be in congruence with our inner life, that deep wisdom. And you may ask yourself, why is it necessary? Because, well, you get glimpses, so you know it already. Yes, that's true, we know. But when we just neglect to ground this knowing, this spirituality, our spirituality, that deepest knowledge of who we really and truly are, what we desire, need, and want, so our soul's promise will be fulfilled. So it just stays up there. It will be flapping and floating, and it will be of no use whatsoever. It's nice to escape to. It gives a false sense of safety, but it's not helping us. It's really not helping us along. And we get the glimpses of the possibilities, but we feel that when we feel that the impossibility of grounding it, adding it into our daily lives, will really make it difficult to stand in that empowered way in our relationships. Our authentic truth will not shine through. We will not be able to express ourselves in our relations. It's just another drain. And it will be another reason to think, why on earth am I here? What I'm doing here? For whom? And it might add to the feelings of isolation and abandonment we all harbor from time, and they will become all too recognizable because we will miss on that sparkle of brilliance in our daily lives. So we need to bring that deep wisdom into the physical reality of the earth, so the world we live in mirrors our soul's wishes for us, its instrument. And, well, in order to be able to receive and understand those clear to the point messages, our guidance can use a lot of ways and methods to reach out to us, as we saw before. But our task is to make sure we are able to discern and to be willing to remove the white noise that's interfering with the messages and the receiving of the signal. So we are able to be as clear as possible, so all those subtle signals are able to come through. We must be aware that the twitch we're feeling in our nose isn't ours when we didn't feel a twitch. That the anxiety, the anger, the grief that washes over us when just a moment before we were completely happy, doing our thing, and then at once we feel depressed or being pulled down, isn't ours, but it might be our neighbors, or it might be an imprint from the cashier or someone who is standing in front of you at the checking out line at the cashier, or just someone you bumped upon at the street, against the street, or a friend who's just sending out, because they're used for you to do so, sending out some tentacles without being aware that they need your support. As I said before, to me, this is not. This is uncomfortable. This is an uncomfortable position to be in. It's uncomfortable for us. It's uncomfortable for the others. It doesn't support anyone when we take over their load in life, when we don't empower them to sort it out themselves. And I've come to the conclusion that it's quite rude to just pick up randomly messages and not to take care that we close off that ability, just to close off that ability. So we can just, we don't need to use that excuse of being an empath and not being able to go outside anymore. There are ways to manage that energy. But in the meantime, we really like to be as open and clear channel for the messages of our guidance as possible as we can be. And we grow that capacity as everything else, step by step, and it's an ongoing process. And I love the process, so I'm really advocating for it. And it's as I've learned with my clients, in order to get lasting transformation, it helps to work on diverse interconnected levels. And so we can build up that power on interconnected levels. And to sparkle your brilliance, I've developed, and it's grounded in all the knowledge, the wisdom, all I've experienced the past 30 years while working with my clients. my unique effervescence for your soul modality. And there are 3 levels. They're not true levels. There's no hierarchy. There is just I just call them levels or layers for the structure sake of it, and they all blend together. But let's just first, for the sake of clarity, with the first one, and that's the physical one. But this modality really helps you to become alert and to know who you are and what belongs to you and what belongs to another. So here we are, Sally. We are able to receive those messages in a clear, undiluted, and undisturbed way as possible. We will be able to follow up on it and to apply it to benefit all our relationships. And we will meet our deepest needs, desires, and wants, so we are able to incorporate them and the results in daily life and to answer them in a satisfying way. We will become that as strong and capable, a stable container as possible for this very moment, and we will grow that capacity of receiving and holding the wisdom in a steadfast way. We all deserve to be able to receive all the knowledge we can get, because, well, it's hard enough to navigate life as it is, and so we can get to stand in our truth and live it. And what I've always found very happy and good news is when we just take our steps and do what we can, Spirit will do all. The universe will grab our hands and lift us up. We don't do this alone. We are being helped and guided. So the first level, I call this the physical level. It's a very important one. It's not a very appreciated one for a lot of spiritual people, but I believe in owning a grounded spirituality, because, as I said, otherwise it's just up there and not down here, embodied on earth. So for me, it's always the starting point, the takeoff, runaway for our experience as spiritual beings in our human body. And since this is all about pure communication on a soul level, we need to make sure our physical and energetic body will be able to receive and to hold it. And then the question comes in, it's important to check in within yourself. How do you experience your body? Do you pay attention to its needs, or are you dismissing it as not being important because you are that spiritual being? But are you able to discern its subtle or less subtle clues? What does it want you to be aware of? For example, I've been suffering from migraine since I was, I think, 3 years old or 2 years old. In a way, I modeled it from my dad and other family members, but it served me well. I've discovered it really served me well, because when the pressure of being in this world, out in this world, became too much, that was just a reason for me to escape, to return to myself, to just shrug off all the responsibilities on my shoulders, and I had quite a few, and just to say, I'm not there anymore. Time to rest, to withdraw. And actually, it still serves to withdraw when I just can't go on anymore, when I've overextended my limits. I hope nowadays to be more aware so they don't come true for me as often. So ask yourself right now, turn inwards. How do I feel right now? Do you feel comfortable? Or are you feeling a little bit impatient? Are you feeling hot, cold? Can you remember or feel how does it feel to walk barefoot? What happens when you bite into an apple? What do you experience? How does it feel? How does it feel when you rub your feet? Or how does it feel when you wear red socks? What do you prefer to wear? There is that cliche for a good reason. It's really important to take good care of yourself. Because being exhausted, running on dry, doesn't allow for clear messages to come through. There's another cliche, and it's not for nothing. Hydrate yourself. It will grow the receptivity. It's easier for the messages to run through you. Honor your body, celebrate it. decorate it. Eat food that nourishes you, and this is unique for you. It's highly individual. What nourishes one doesn't per se nourishes you. So take the time to discover. Take regular exercise, hug, love, play in the water. Be creative. Take those deep cleansing breaths. Go outside. Again, stare into the distance. Sing out loud. Beat a drum. Take a nap. A nap, very important. It helps you ground. Sleeping is a very profound way of grounding. So therefore, we may all feel a little bit shattered when we don't have enough sleep. And pick up that blade of grass. What do you feel? What do you smell? What do you notice? So short, pay attention to all those finer details of being alive in that human body. And it's a gift to live in a human body. Souls are clamoring to live in our bodies, in human bodies. So use it. It's not there for nothing. And one great example of self-care has been, I've once read, was one given by the Dalai Lama, His Holiness Dalai Lama. When he was asked how did he manage to appear always so totally unflustered while his working schedule is totally in overload, he smiled, as he always does, and he simply answered, "I always leave early to arrive before time of the scheduled appointment." It's such a small detail, but it will provide you with so much grounding and being aware. So the taking care of ourselves on the physical level, that gives space to go into that silence, that inner stillness. So, and it helps to pay attention to what it is exactly what we can feel, hear, and sense. It will shift the worries. So space is cleared to be attentive to discover what lives really in us. What moves us? What makes us gut happy? How does it feel to be gut happy? And simultaneously, and of course there's a lot of other parts of this. Simultaneously, when we're building and expanding upon this firm foundation that we put in place, we will welcome in the energetic level, the energetic body, to welcome in growth on that level. And that is a level layer 2. And what's important to that is the grounding, as we did when we started. As well, the clearing of our energy, what we did as well in our when we started. And that exercise is something I always do with my clients to set up the container when we start working together. And as well, clear your surrounding. Make sure that you're, I do have a fairly tidy and organized soul. So for me, it's really important to be in an as uncluttered space as possible. Only things I love and who provides me with energy are allowed. I chase dust bunnies as a mad person because they distract the energy for me, so I don't allow them. But as well, clear your house on an energetical level. Ask for someone to do a house clearing, remote or in person. It's all possible. Just make sure that, as Feng Shui as well advocates, that the energy can move around freely and is not being blocked or hampered. But maybe your soul thrives on chaos. So answer that call then as well. Smudging may help on a regular basis as well for your own energy and for your surroundings. Be aware about your chakras. Know how to balance them. Know how they feel. Know when they close to protect you. Know when they are open. They are organisms, and they're entities on their own, and they remind me of those beautiful coral, those flowers in the sea. They're opening and flowing with the streams and of the waters and the flows of the waters, and then they're closing again. And to me, a chakra works a little bit like that, like flowers, opening, closing, but be aware. Know them intimately. It's a very important structure of our energy system, and it pays to pay attention to them and to know how to manage them and to ask them for guidance. When I first got my first trainings back in the 80s, chakra work was something that came to the Netherlands and it was being brought over by where I got my training by Guru Mai, and where I got my training was based on that foundation, and they were really strong because they came from the Far East, very strong on learning to operate your chakra system, and every time to know how to work with it for yourself and with others. And every time a certain person neared me, my second chakra just closed down completely. And I felt ashamed about it because, well, we were taught they should be opened and balanced. Actually, my second chakra, it's the place where our creativity lives, our sensuality and everything like that, just didn't trust that guy. So the best thing to protect me was closing it down. And I was forever grateful, but yet, because yes, at gut level, I didn't trust that guy. I've included a free gift with this summit, so you will have a guided journey to go into your chakras and to do the clearing and to just to follow it and to become that as strong as possible container for energy right now today. Pay attention to your aura work. Where does your aura stop? How much place do you need? Space. There's plenty of space, but maybe you like to have it to just usher it a little bit in. How does it feel? Play with it. Notice where your aura ends and where the outer world, the outer lines starts. Is it whole? Are there tears in it? Is energy able just from others, just able to seep into it? Because then you get those messages from others. Play with it, clear it, and learn to work with it. Be aware how hard for you is it to say yes, to say no, and to be truly aligned with it. This is as well an aura, something, a strength you can operate. I've got one tip. When you don't feel well, or you don't feel valued by others, just remove yourself physically and energetically. Just go away, leave. We have a choice. We have all the choices we can make. Don't let other people lower your energy. Don't allow them to do so. What helps as well are, of course, rituals, ceremonies, plant medicine, crystals, essential oils, you name it, Reiki, other ways of energy clearing. Just use it all to let go of all that doesn't belong to you or that we don't need anymore. And just to put out that intention. I just let it all go what I don't use anymore. We don't need to know all the details. Spirit will take care of us. That's part of the guidance. And it will free up that space to receive the messages to more up levels and better and more detailed. And then the third level comes in, and that's where it gets really interesting to me. And that's as well the last part. That's the psychological, spiritual level. And the first levels, the as I call them, the physical and energetic level, they serve to shine the glass around the radiant light we are. This third level serves to intensify this brilliant light itself, to make our soul shine more brighter and more accessible. This is the level where the magic and the miracles of deep healing starts to happen. This is the level where the soul clearing, the clearings, the soul retrievals, the Akashic record beings, the shamanic journeys, the inner child and shadow issues comes up, where the surrender, the love and light are coming in, because there is a clearing and an upleveling on a very deep spiritual soul level. But the need to do so will be a frustrating one, because you just put in all that work, the physical, the energetical, to a level into being that clear channel for guidance. You receive the guidance, you've done all to ground it, to make space for it, to be open. But there will come an inevitable moment of disappointment and confusion, because we did it all and still our outer life doesn't match our inner life. There is no congruence, it's not in alignment. And we might still not feel recognized for who we are. We might not feel seen, heard, and valued for who we authentically and truly are. There are feelings of isolation, abandonment, frustration comes up. We may experience feelings of being not worthy, of anger, anxiety, all that stuff. We feel stuck, and we ask ourselves, why? Why doesn't all the inner wisdom we've learned to harness in our inner world waste that magic wand and resolve all the problems? Well, because, and do not worry when it comes up, because actually it's beautiful. This experience this is the signal that you are being ready to clear on that next level. And then you can usher in that everlasting transformation, that shift you need, so you will never fall into the same, how do you call it? Problem again. I can't come up with a word. It's an invitation to dive deep into that emotional watery depth of our subconscious, to uncover, access and acknowledge and shift those hidden, outdated emotions, those holding us back patterns, beliefs, thoughts. And we are able to shift those into those gold nuggets that will empower us day after day, moment after moment, because we've mastered it. And it empowers us to align our daily life to our deepest and soul level. So we will feel loved, we will feel honored, we will feel appreciated for who we are, because we are. And this is the level as well, where we are urged on that soul level to dive up those missing pieces, to fill the gaps. So we can aid to complete that full integration, so we can leave the frustration behind. This is the litmus test, and it's a beautiful one when we pass it. I'm going to read this a little bit later. And this is the level as well where we need to surround ourselves with others to help us. You can't become yourself by yourself. This is a truth. You really need to have others to help you to go past this, because we're so used to our own thought patterns, everything like that. We've set them up on a very early age already, and they are governing, I think, more than 80% of our daily interactions and habits and everything like that. And we are not being even aware of them, because it's such an automatic system running us. We don't want that anymore. And so we really want to be able to hold our reins in our hands. And as well, it's as well advisable to find people, sisters, others, to besides a good coach. So get informed about good coaches who can who you feel a connection with and who can help you forward with this transformation. But as well, you need people around you who are unconditionally loving you for who you are, and are fiercely supportive of who you are to become. Those are powerful groups, and I speak out of experience, and they are helping so much to offer in that deeper wisdom. And what I've discovered while working with those women, the spiritual evolved women and their pets, that there is always one main reason why they are not able to fully feel honored, loved, and appreciated in the personal relationships. And maybe you like to know what's that for you. So I really would like to invite you to hop on a free Uncover Your Brilliance call. You can find the details at the summit page. and just to so I can help you to find out what your one core reason is, so you will be able to shift that and welcome in new growth and transformation. And then I'm going to read the arriving on time depends on whether you are in the 0 point on the x-axis and there are no space. Yes, which frequent for our dumped down. Once another. My XP, pure brilliance. I would say my technique to bring people back is to use those tools, to use your breath, to use your awareness, to ground, because then you are back at the 0 point. And there is no space, there is no time, and we all know that, because that's why a remote energy and healing works, as well as being with someone in the same room. I always work remote and send Reiki and everything like that. But face it, we are living in this world. We are living in this 3-dimensional world. So for most people, there is time and space. There is an abstract, not so abstract notion of that. And I don't know if I understand your question all right. And I know that I've noticed when we are connected to that higher wisdom, we don't need an alarm clock to wake up, because we will wake up, we will be woken up, we will be guided. I don't wear a watch. I never wear a watch. I don't need it. But to came to that point, I really needed to be aware of of who I am, of my energy, and where I stand. And therefore, to do so, I use all these techniques I mentioned and some more. Does this answer? I hope so. So, I finished my share. And thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Florentine. Let me kind of shift a little bit. I would love to invite your team for them to share something that's relevant for them to share in this moment, if that's something that you could connect to.
Don't be afraid of the work. That's you know, a lot of teachers, gurus, whatever, they act as if it's just an instant click and then we will be enlightened. It doesn't work like that. We need to be there. We need to be actively involved. We need to show up and be willing to do the work. There is no one instant cure-all. There is just a gradual and sometimes explosive evolving. But be willing to put in the work and be responsible for your own growth. And that's something they are really, my team is really adamant about. Be willing to study, be willing to be open, be willing to shift, be willing to look the painful facts in the eye, be willing to do that mirror work, for instance, to look in the mirror at the Louisa Hay thing and tell yourself how great you are. Be willing not to to flow with other people's energy because you're so used to it. Be willing to discern. It's all about it demands an active approach and not a passive approach. And it doesn't mean that you're not being helped. You are being guided. But it's just, you need to make some efforts. At least that's my team. It may run very different for someone else here.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
If there's any other questions or comments or anything else that you would like to have Florentine address, please feel free to raise your hand or put a comment in the chat. So Florentine,
thank you, Katie. How sweet.
I am wanting to give you a platform for you to kind of share a little bit more about what channeling means for you.
Channeling for me is I'm a multisensory, so that helps. But my first way of channeling will be the knowing, the claircognizance, and the clairsentience. So when I work, I use this example of working. When I work with someone, I allow them, or we set up a conversation. Because why would I walk in the blind, and so they will feel heard and seen as well. That's important because they are living with an issue. Otherwise, they wouldn't call in my help. And after a few sentences, there is some. It's almost audible, a click, an aha inside of my head, and then my higher self takes over. Or doesn't take over, but it's not that I get out of the way. To me, it's if I'm becoming suddenly very wise, and it's just sharing her wisdom with me. For me, my higher self is a she, and that. And then the guidance comes, and then I take people on guided meditation. I help them to connect to their inner wisdom because that's my forte, and I help them to see what is ready to be shifted, to be transformed, what is standing in their way. And actually, I always send out recordings of the sessions. My clients often don't know anymore what happened, but it did work. I don't know what I said. It just flows through me. Another way of channeling to me is, as I said, writing. Just start to write, and then it will flow through me. And when I read back, and it can be weeks later when I read something back I've been written, and I'm just sitting there. Wow, actually, this contains a lot of wisdom, and that's funny because when I'm writing it, I tended to dismiss it. I was thinking, oh, I'm just making this up. But I'm just making this up. Imagination is a very powerful tool our guides are using to get to channel. So it's all good. So does this answer your question?
Yeah, of course. Of course, it's not necessarily a right or wrong. It's just an opportunity to get a little bit more understanding of how it works within you and how you relate to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love what you mentioned about bringing up the subject of making things up. When somebody brought up the concept that our spiritual intuition and our imagination are working in the same energy.
Yes.
And so one feeds the other. And so when we quote unquote make something up, we're playing within the same energy of our spiritual intuition. So I love that idea. But there was a question that came in from Sally.
Does the energy of our pets differs to those of humans? They do differ. They are, of course, part of the animal kingdom, and they are masters of unconditional love. We are not, and they help us to master this throughout their lives and our lives. To me, it's not at all different to tune into that inner energy, because to me, energy is energy. It's not different for me or more difficult for me to turn into the energy of a tree, of a rock, of once I did it, the first time I started to tune into their energy of pets, I was really thinking, oh my goodness, who do I think I am? But it's not different. It's just being open. Energy is energy. So the form it disguises itself into doesn't matter. I don't think it's different to tune into the divine, and that's one of my abilities, by the way, to have that straight connection, and or archangels or angels. It's just tuning in. Um, they do differ though, and what they are here for mostly, we have soul contracts with them, we humans, with our pets, and all other animals, by the way, but that's on a much larger, greater scale. Our pets will show through their, will just try to alert us using their language, and their language are, of course, their behavior, their health, their patterns, their all that. To alert us to those layers in us who are ready to be uncovered. And often when they mirror us, they mirror our issues, so we can take their heat and take their love, so we can lighten that up. And the funny thing is, when we do our work, our internal work, to evolve, often their behavior will change as well, because they are being free to walk further on their soul path. They fulfill that mission, and they can go into their next mission with us, or just be free to enjoy being a pet. I know the following speaker, Ana Maria Vasquez, she is a wonderful teacher about this, and I'm sure she will tell more about this as well. I hope this helps, Sally.
There was
Chiara,
before you move on to Chiara's, there was there's something that I wanted to kind of mention in this as well. The difference that we perceive between pets and humans, or rocks and trees, like you mentioned, Florentine, a lot of that is our perception. And when we get past the perception and we look at the fact, like you say, it's just energy. Everything is energy. And so when we look for the similarities as opposed to the differences, it makes it easier for us to align with it.
Yes. What is different may be the way of expressing. When I connect to a tree, one of my allies is a grandfather tree. It's a redwood tree. I've never ever met grandfather tree in real. We have a remote relationship, and he invited me. He summoned me to connect to him years ago, and now he's one of my most trusted spiritual allies, and always having my back. But when you merge shapeshift with a tree or an animal or a rock, they all carry their energies a little bit different, because their form is different. A tree is planted. A tree has those deep roots. It's one of my most favorite ways to ground, by the way, to merge with, to ask a tree for it allows me to merge with it, to ground. But as well, all trees have different personalities, and that's really, I know grumpy trees, I know giggling trees, and that never fails to fascinate me. They're differences, but their energy is energy, and we are all one. We shouldn't forget that we are all one. Mother Earth is a beautiful entity, spiritual entity, as the moon is, as the universe is, as you are, as that little a flower or bird is. We are all one, and I think that dividing is a human, concentrating on all that divides us is a human way of thinking, because it makes it more structured, it makes things more logical, but in reality, there is no, it's all energy, as I said before. Yeah. And there is so much fun and joy out there, because to me energy is light. It's light-hearted. It's not. it hasn't been. Why should it be? Why should it not be lighthearted? It's love and light in essence. So just enjoy it, play with it, have fun with it. Just get a rock in your or crystal in your hands and connect to it, and just look what comes up. And as Chara, I hope I pronounce your name okay. That I'm making this up seems to be a very common phase we all go through while starting channeling. Yes, it is, and it is there for a reason, and that's. And as we discussed before, making it up is a very valid language used by spiritual intelligence. Thank you, Kelly. And XI Pure Brilliance is telling about her experience with the same kind of childhood upbringing as I had. Yes, I did as well, and therefore I really needed to ground in my body. And then the migraine started to subdue and to lay off, because all that energy had a place to go to, a way to flow and a way to drain into. And I, when I was 26, 27, I really went through a very dark night of the soul. And because I was thinking something was really very wrong with me. I was feeling that I couldn't feel at all. I was not able to feel emotions or feelings or anything. And I was thinking there was just some psychopathic something in me. Truth was, when after I reached out to a coach, as I've done since that time, to every step in my life, I've noticed that I'm an empath. I'm an empath, as most of us. I'm very highly sensitive, and the overload, I couldn't take it anymore. It was dismissed too often, and I couldn't connect to my emotions at all. And there was a load of them. There was a complete ocean of them, but there was just there, and I was there, and I couldn't do anything with it. So for me, being in that dark night of my soul has been a huge gift, a huge gift. And I'm so grateful for it every day when I wake up, every moment. I'm so grateful that it went that bad, that wrong, that I needed to reach out for support and guidance, and that I got it. But yeah, I do recognize it fully. Yes, that's hard to become that ill, to escape that emotional support, actually, because it's support, but it's really hard to not being able to draw upon it. I'm sorry for that you had to suffer through that. I hope it's okay with you now.
So Florentine, as we are approaching kind of the end of this conversation, I would love to give you an opportunity to just share anything else that comes to mind, something that that you feel you would like to kind of finish the conversation with.
Yes, well, I really like to invite you to hop on that call, because to me that's my soul mission, of course, to help as many brilliant, beautiful beings to stand in their authenticity and to feel honored, valued, appreciated, and know who they are really aware who they are getting their tools, having their tools to wield, so they can grow and don't need to fly anymore. Just are able to use it and to become that brilliance you are, and to be that brilliance, and to just to allow yourself to become who you intended to be for this life. And for now, I would advise anyone, just go outside. If the weather's clement, take a deep breath, feel the ground under your feet, and rejoice that you are living a spiritual being in a human body. And I thank you all for being here and showing up. I'm very grateful.
And so the conversation that Florentine is inviting you all to have with her is the special invitation on the website In her bio, there's a description there of what she's offering. And I mean, it's very generous. It's a free Zoom session with her. So if you reach out to her via her email, which is listed in the website, or go to bubblesforyoursoul.com, which is also listed in the special offer link. Reach out to her, talk to her about the fact that you came in through this event, and she will gift you a free Zoom session, which is amazing. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And of course, as always, I always recommend doing the free giveaways, because there's so much information in the free giveaways as well. So, and as you do so, you're also going to be added to her distribution list, her list, so she can share more information with you going forward. So very beautiful. We still have a few more minutes. If anybody has any questions or anything else that they would like to bring up. You know, I don't want to necessarily rush the end of this. And of course, if there's anything else that comes to mind that your spirit team wants to share, Florentine, they're always welcome to say their messages as well.
Yes, they feel complete.
Beautiful.
For now. So if others feel complete. How old were I? I was 27 when I started this journey. And later I've been told, but I'm not very aware about astrology. Of course, I have them done, human design, everything. That around that time there is a circle completed, and then for most people changes are being offered to usher in, and so we can expand on a new level. A closing meditation, that's okay. Okay, please close your eyes. That's a beautiful idea, Kelly. Thank you. Oh no, not Kelly. Pure brilliance. Please, all of you, to close this in a proper way. Close your eyes. And I'm sorry that I forgot it. Take a deep breath. And exhale with sound. And allow all negative emotions and feelings that has come up maybe during this call to drain into Mother Earth, where she will use it to fill you up with transformed, beautiful golden energy, to refill the spaces that have been freed by letting go of the negative emotions. I ask you to call back your energy. I'm calling back my energy to me. And I say thank you, thank you, thank you to all loving beings, allies in our spiritual journey. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take a deep other breath and enjoy your day. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much, Florentine. Beautiful information that you shared with us. And again, I invite anybody that's interested, reach out to her. And we will see you at the top of the hour for our conversation with Ana Maria Vasquez, who focuses on the natural realms, as Florentine mentioned. So Florentine, thank you. As always, beautiful to be with you, and look forward to continue our conversations. As always, a lot of fun.
Yeah, and, thank you so much, Daniel.
And to everybody else, I will leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love. And thank you guys all for all your loving messages that you're putting in the chat. We both really appreciate it.
Yes.
All right, guys. So I'm going to end the session. So I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you for being part of this incredible experience. We hope that this session has inspired a new level of understanding within you, allowing you to expand more easily into the essence of your true self and become an even more powerful alchemist in your own life. We invite you to listen to the session again and again in order to go deeper each time and expand even more. Have it be via the replays or the unlimited access package. If you have enjoyed being part of this event, we invite you to tell your friends so that they can join us in the future. We are grateful that you are here, and we thank you for co-creating this experience with us. Until next time, we leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.